Hey guys, welcome again back to this channel. How are you all doing, guys? Hope you're good. Hope you're generally fine. Hope you're doing great. I want to say compliments of the season to you all. Thank you so much, guys, for riding with me from the beginning to the end of this year. Appreciate you a lot. To all my subscribers, a very big thank you to you guys. If you're new here, also I want to say thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you all. So today we're going to be doing this beautiful dress, okay? And so what we have, you can see, is a shirt dress with these beautiful V designs. And so this is the fabric that I'm using. This is a paper style I'm going to be using for just the collar. And of course, I have my plain fabric. So what I have here is a satin fabric. So the choice of your fabric matters, okay? And you know this satin is on the soft side, so you might want to use a more thicker fabric, cutting and the likes. Yes. And so here is the half length cut. That's the first layer. You can see, if you look at the outfit, you can see it's like in 3 layers. The half length cut, now this is the top one, and that's the first layer. I already have 3 inches mark for the button space allowance. All right, this is a shirt dress, and of course I have my chest line at 9 and my waistline at 17 inches, and of course my hemline. So the first thing I want to do now is to indicate my 3 by 8 inches mark. I'm marking that down. At that 8 inches, I'll come down by 1 inch for my slope. I'll mark that down, and of course, I'll go ahead and mark my slope right there. So the next thing I want to do now is to indicate my shoulder width, which is 16 divided by 2, that's 8. You can see me marking that down all the way to the chest line, and I'll go ahead now and mark what a straight line. Now, in order to get my armhole curve, I will indicate what I have from that slope to the chest line. I have about 8 inches there. Split it into 2, and that is 4. Mark that down. At that 4 inches point, come in by 0.5 inches, and I'll go ahead now and create what's my armhole curve. So remember, this is for the front, right? Yeah. So after that, now the next thing I want to do now is towards fixing what's my body circumference. I'm just trying to take in that button space allowance just to hide it in for the moment. So the next thing I want to do now is to fix in the neck width of 3 inches now, and it will be a neck depth of 3 inches. So this one is for the front, okay? So if you're on a bigger side, you might want to use a neck width of 3.5, okay? Yeah, so 3 inches for the neck width here, and 3 inches for the neck depth, because this is for the front. Now I'm going to fix in the bust circumference. I'm working with 38 divided by 4, that is 9.5. I'll mark that down. Then I'll also go ahead now and mark extra 3 inches worth for my seam allowance, okay? Mark that down there. Then on the waistline is 36. 36 is waist circumference divided by 4, and that is 9. I'll also mark that down. Then I'll also go ahead now and mark the extra 3 inches worth for the seam allowance, and that's it for that one. Then we can go ahead and connect the 2 points together, and we just have our side drafting. Now the next thing I want to do now is to create what's my princess dart there. I'm going to use a princess dart. This is just a straightforward princess dart, trying to get what I have on that armhole. You can see all the way to where I have my chest line marking. Now that's 10 divided by 2, 5. I'll go ahead and mark that down. So just mark it down at the moment. So this is what we're going to use to create the princess dart. Then I'll come down there now and indicate the bust span. The bust span is the nipple to nipple distance. I'm working with 8 divided by 2, and that is 4. So I'll mark 4 inches from the chest line all the way to the hem line, okay? And of course, after that, I'll go ahead and connect the points to make a straight line. Now, at that chest line there, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, okay? At that chest line, just come down by 1 inches on that straight line we've just marked now. Now, from that point of 1 inches, we're going to create a curve and connect it to that midpoint we have on our armhole. And that's it, guys. So this is just a straightforward princess that we're not adding any extra darts here and there. No, this is just a straightforward princess dart, and neither is it a bustier, okay? Now that we have it, now I'm just going to extend that point by 2 inches. You know, whenever we're cutting our princess dart, we usually make an extension of 2 inches, 1.5 or 2 inches, so that when you're joining it, well, we will not have any shortage on the armhole. So you can see me going ahead to extend that. Then after that, you can now go ahead and connect the armhole curve to the chest line. So here we have our new armhole. So you can see this now, and that's it, guys. We're done with that. So the next thing I want to do now is to take away 1 inches from my shoulder. So this is a shirt dress, okay, and I would like my shoulder to fall to the front, so I'm going to remove 1 inch. So this 1 inches we're taking away, mind you, we're going to be replacing it back when we're cutting for the back piece, okay? Take note of that. So taking away 1 inches now from my shoulder, and so we're going to be cutting it out. And guys, we're done. So opening up my button space, I'm just going to extend that neckline because I've opened up my button space there. You can see me extending the neckline, and guys, we just go ahead and cut this entire piece out. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that. I appreciate that a lot. Please like and share with friends. This will go a long way to help this channel. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you always. Okay, thank you so much. And so here we have the cutout. This one is for the front, just going ahead to notch the button space there, and of course slit open now the button space as well. So our front piece is ready, so move over to the back. Now for the back, what I want to do now is to mark 2 inches from the startup line, and I'll make a straight line. Now this 2 inches is what I'm going to use to extend my shoulder. Remember, we're going to be extending the shoulder as well. All right, so as you go along, of course, you understand better. So going ahead to mark the chest line at 9 from that startup line, and the waistline was at 17 inches, and of course the extra hemming allowance. So after that, if you have any excesses, you can go ahead and trim that out. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is towards fixing what the 3 by 8 inches mark. You can see me marking that down, coming down by 1 inches for my slope, taking note of the 3 inches there, and of course I'll go ahead now and mark what's my slope, as you can see me doing. So we have this now, right? Yeah, so the next thing now is to indicate the shoulder width of 16 divided by 2 8. You can see me marking a straight line all the way to the chest line. Go ahead and get the midpoint from that slope. All right, and we'll come, of course, we go ahead and create the armhole. So this one is for the back armhole, right? Yeah, so the next thing I want to do now is to fix in the body circumference. Remember the bust I said is 38 divided by 4 9.5, and I went ahead to add extra 3 inches for the seam allowance. For the waist was 36 divided by 4 9, and also 3 inches seam allowance. And there we have it for the side drafting. Now we're going to fix the neck width. We're using a neck width of 3 inches here, and because this is for the back, is going to be a neck depth of what? 1.5. 3 inches in width, 1.5 what for the neck depth. And here we have it, guys. Now to create my princess dart again, I'll go ahead and check what I have on my armhole. Whatever it is I have, I'll go ahead and split it into 2, all right, and of course get the midpoint there. Once I mark that down, then I'll go ahead and also create my bust span, which is 8 divided by 2 4. Mark it from the chest line all the way to the hem line, and I'll get a straight line. So for the front, we have to go down by 1 inches from that chest line, but this back side, we don't need to do that. Okay, just take it from that chest line and make a curve towards the midpoints we already marked out. Okay, it's that simple. And just go ahead and make a curve. After that, then of course you can extend it again by 2 inches. Remember, the same 2 inches, we extend it again by 2 inches. And after that, then of course you can now connect it to the chest measurement there, and there we have our armhole for the back piece. And guys, we're done here, guys. It's that simple, guys. We're done for this one. Now the final thing now is to extend our shoulder. Remember, we took away 1 inches from the front, right? Now we're going to replace that 1 inches, but instead of replacing it by 1 inches, we're going to replace it by 2 inches. Okay, 2 inches. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm marking out 2 inches. So the reason why it is 2 inches, because we're going to be joining the shoulder, so that's why we are fixing in that extra 1 inches there, which makes it 2 inches. Okay, yeah, so going ahead to extend the shoulder, and once this is done, guys, we're done. It's that simple. We're done. After the extension, just go ahead and cut the entire piece out, and that will be it, guys, for this back drafting. Okay, yes, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share with friends. I appreciate this. Any comment, suggestion, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. I'm always here for you guys. Okay, yes, guys. And so here we have it. You can see we have every piece ready for the top part. Now what we're going to do now is just to go ahead and join the princess darts. Okay, you can see your princess dart, you always sew from the down part, right? Just make your stitch and take it all the way to the top. Okay, you have this. Feel free to fix in lining. Please feel free to use lining for yours. Of course, lining will give it more structure, right, and make it more beautiful. So feel free if you want to add lining to yours, but I'm not adding lining for this one. Now what I want to do now is to also create my button space. And remember that button space we're going to make in a fold. Now listen carefully here. You can see one piece, I'm folding it by 0.5 inches, then I'm folding it again on that line. I'm doing it again, fold 0.5 inches and fold it towards again on that line. You can see that line there, the line of the 3 inches button space. So once you do this, just go ahead and sew. So I'm using my pin to demonstrate this down, okay? Now this is for one side, okay? Now for the next one, it's going to be slightly different. You're going to fold on that line. You know, the other one, we folded it towards the line. Please don't get me wrong, don't be confused. We folded the other one towards the line, but this one we're folding it directly on that line. You can see the slight difference, okay? Yes, just follow through what I did. There's nothing difficult, okay? Just for those that are not familiar with this, and of course you will be able to have it overlapping once you're done sewing. So after that, of course, you can go ahead now and join the the princess dart to the side there. So do this for the front and also what for the back side, okay? Yes guys, just go ahead and join it, and that will be it guys. So what I'll do now is to go ahead and finish this up, then I'll come back to show you the next step. Yeah. And guys, at this point you can see I've already done my joining for the princess that you can see the straight stitch has been done for my button space there. You can see this one is for the back piece, and yeah, we're done here guys. So now I'm just going to arrange this properly. Remember, the shoulder is meant to fall to the front, and with this now you can already see that it's falling into shape. You can see the shoulder now. You can see the shoulder is going to fall to the front. So I'll just quickly go ahead and sew the shoulders, right? And of course, once I'm done, you now see how this turns out. And so once I was done joining the shoulders, you can already see this now, right? Yeah, so by the time you arrange it properly, you can see how this looks. So what you need to do is to notch the new shoulder point. Yeah, you need to notch it because that's where you're going to be attaching your sleeve from. Okay, having in mind that we now have that shoulder joining falling to the front. Okay, so the next thing you want to do now is to go ahead and of course, fix the collar. So I'm taking the measurement of the round neck now. Please feel free to do this 2 times or 3 times. Just be sure you have the exact measurement. I have 21.5 for the round neck there. Then I have this piece of fabric is what I'm going to use. You can see this is on folding it into 2. I'll folding it again, making it into 4. Okay. Now from that unfold part, I'm going to measure. We measure 21.5 from the round neck. By the time you split it into 2, that's what about 10.75. Go ahead and add 0.5 inches again, which makes it about 11.25, right? And I'll mark a straight line. Okay, yeah, mark a straight line. So we're trying to cut out the collar here. Then measure what you have from one end to the other. Whatever it is you have, you split it into 2. Okay, whatever it is you have, you split it into 2. Split it into 2 and just indicate the midpoint there. Okay, now come to that point where you have your line, go up by what 0.5 inches. So from that point now you make a curve, just a tiny curve there. You can see me using my curve ruler there, and that's it. Now at this point now you can now measure the width of your collar. So this is the first layer, so I'm doing 1.5 inches. So I'm marking 1.5 inches from one end to the other end. You can see this. So you keep marking this. When you should get to that part where you have it chalked, you also start marking from that chalk line. You can see this. So this is not going to give it a straight line. You can see one side is straight and one side is curved. You can already see this. Then after that, go ahead and make a tiny curve about at an angle of 0.5 inches. You can see what I'm doing. Make a curve there, and that is it for this first layer. Okay, now for the second layer, now I'm going to mark 4 inches is what I'm using. So from one end I indicate 4 inches, then on the other end as well I'll also indicate 4 inches. So you already know this is not a straight line, right? So you go ahead and connect the 2 points together, right? Yeah. So now the next thing I want to do now is to take it from that edge and slant it towards that where you already have that curve. Just follow what I'm doing. Even though my grammar is confusing you a bit, just follow what I'm doing. Trust me, it is not difficult at all. So you can see this. And guys, we're done. It's that simple. We're done. So what I'm going to do now is to cut this out. So usually for our collar, we like to separate the first layer from the second layer. But in my own case here, I didn't want to separate it. So you can see I left it the way it is. Okay, yes, so that's it. So at this point, I'll advise you can now go ahead and attach your steel, whether you're using a gum steel, but I'm using a paper steel. But because I don't have any power supply now, so I'll just go ahead and continue with the demonstration. So what I'll do now at this point after putting your steel is to go ahead and sew. Just sew it all the way round, then you'll be left open on one side there. Okay, now after sewing it, you can see what it looks like. Just feel free to cut off any excesses and notch it all through, very important. So once you do that, you can now go ahead and turn it over. Okay, but me, I'll go along, but I'll be fixing in my paper steel. Somehow I'll still fix in my paper steel later on. Okay, yeah, depending on the steels that you're using. Gum steel, of course, is preferable, please. All right, so now this is what I have. You can see this now. I'll go ahead and fold it into two to get the center point. I will notch it down because we want to attach our collar now. So once I notch that center point now of my collar, I'll bring back my original piece, which is my shirt there. Then I'll also get the center point. So to get the center point, make sure the shoulder joining is aligning together, please. Yeah, you have to hold firm to the shoulder joining, and that's how you get the center of the back. Then you can now start fixing your collar. Start fixing from that center point where you already notched, from that point to one end and of course to the other end. So you're already sewing only one side. You can see right side is facing right side when you sew. Then once you're done, you will now use the other side to top stitch on top of it. So I'll just go quickly finish one side so you see this. Now after joining this, you can already see how this look, right? So this is the point where I'm going to be fixing in my steel. So okay, but of course I'm going ahead to continue with this tutorial so that we just keep understanding it better. Then I'll use my pin now to hold it down. So the way I'm holding it now is the way I'm going to top stitch. Okay, yes. So after you hold it down and sew, of course you can already see that the collar is ready. It's just simple, guys. So one thing I need to do again is to sew, make a straight stitch on that line. That's where you have that curvy line. So this will have your collar to be flexible. Remember, we didn't separate the first and second layer, and that is why I am doing this. So please, if you want yours, you can also do it the other way. Okay, yes guys. So at this point, once you're done, just go ahead and fix your buttonholes and of course attach your sleeve. You can already see this is looking all beautiful, right? So after attaching your sleeves, and you make sure that you hold the lowest part of the front piece at the edge, because you need it in one piece. Okay, because you're going to be joining it to the shoulder, to the second layer. So after joining the sleeve, just fix any sleeve of your choice. It's going to be a 3/4 length sleeve actually because of this tutorial. Then we can now fix for the second layer. So I need to take measurements of what I have here, and what I have here on this waistline is 22. 22 is for the front, another 22 for the back. So now this is the piece I'm going to use to cut for the second layer now. Okay, now what I have here is folded into 4, and I have it 22 by 27, 22 in width, 22 in and 27 in length. That's what I have here. Now that 22 inches we have in circumference, because this is folded into 2, that means I need to get 11 for my circumference. Okay, so see the way I'm moving my tape. This is just a very easy way. Once I feel that I can get my 11, I'll take note of it and know, and what I have there is 7. So I'll start marking 7 from the center. Okay, no, take 7. Feel free to always cross check in case if you feel that is more or less. You can always readjust. Then I'll make my curve. After that, I'll go ahead and cross check. I must have 11 inches, and that is what I have. Okay, yeah, so this 11 inches now, once I have, you know, it's folded into 2. By the time you open it up, then it becomes 22, right? Now at that point now, I can now mark the length of my second layer. Remember, the full length of this gown is 48. We're already taking away half length of 17 inches. Then I want this second layer to be 13 inches. Okay, yes, 17 for the half length, 13 for this second layer. Then I'll add extra 1 inches for, you know, hemming allowance, joining allowance rather, so making it 14. So from that my curve line now, I'm indicating what my 14 inches. You can see that now. I'll go ahead and mark that down. So 14 inches on one end, and of course 14 inches what on the other end. So if this was a peplon, like a curvy peplon, then we know that we'll just need to start connecting on our curves together. But because this is a triangular shape, okay, so we need to what extend one part to be longer than the other end. So we already have 14. I'm going to go down by extra 2 inches from that point, 2 or 3 inches. So we're doing 3 inches here. So we already have that 14 inches. I'll come down by another 3 inches. You can see this now. So what I'll do now is to create a slant line. Okay, I'll create a slant line all the way to the end. Okay, all the way to the end. And here you will have our triangular shape. Okay, yes, you can see this now all the way. And guys, we're done. All I need to do now is to cut. So one thing I noticed is that, I folded this into 4. So I could have folded it into 2 and used the other side I'm cutting out as another piece. Okay, yeah, so in order to save fabric, but hey, I'll still get to make use of it. But in case you're doing yours, you can just fold into 2 and use the other cutout as the either the front or the back. I hope you understand. And so we have our 2-piece ready now. You can see the next thing, of course, to do now is to go ahead now and attach it to the front part. So this is what it looks like, right? You can already see how this is coming out, right? You can already see. So this is it, guys. So the first layer and the second layer, we are ready here. Okay, yeah. So the next thing I did now is to give this a good press. At this point, my light was back, and of course, like I said, I've managed to fix my paper stay somehow. And here I have it well ironed. Then I'll go ahead and top stitch. You can already see the color is looking more like it, right? And also don't forget to run a straight stitch in case you're doing this method of mine where you didn't separate the color. All right, so now for the third layer, I'm using my plain fabric. You can see the one I have here is exactly 2 years, but I'll advise you to use 2.5 years. Okay, yes, 2.5 years. Of course, if it's not going to get to a length of 48, then 2 years is fine, right? Because I have to really manage this. Now look at what I'm doing. I folded this into 2, my plain fabric. I'm bringing my second layer now. You can see me folding it in 2, and I'm placing it in such a way that it looks like I want to cut it out, right? You can see how it's aligning it now. Just watch closely. Now what I'm going to do now is to trace out that triangular part. I'm just going to use my chalk to trace it out. That's what I'm going to do. Just carefully trace it out, and we're not going to do any cutout now. Just trace it out like you see me doing. Then once you have done, now this part is very necessary because that's the part we're going to be joining to the second layer. I hope you understand. Yes, so for now this part is discarded so you don't get confused. Now the next thing you want to do now is to now indicate the length of this third layer. I hope you understand it. Remember, our full length of the gown is 48. Half length of 17 is already gone. Then the second layer, remember, we use 13 inches. 13 plus 17 is already 30. So you take away 30 from 48, that means we are left with 18. That means this lowest part, this third layer, is going to be 18 inches. So here I am marking 18. I'm going to add extra 1.5 inches because of the hemming and joining. Then that makes it 19.5. Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to indicate that 19.5 right now. That 19.5, I'll bring my tape back to the edge. You can see what I'm doing, and take it back to the points where I already indicated 19.5. You can see that what I have now is 41.5. So this 41.5 is what I will now use to create my circumference. I hope you're understanding. It's not difficult, guys, okay? Yeah, just follow through. So 41.5, you can see me marking that down. Now, one thing you should know, you can see right now that we're making a curvy shape. So you can still decide to make your lowest one. You can still decide to make it a triangular shape, just like we did for second layer. It is your choice, okay? But I am making this a curvy shape right now. I hope you understand. So just going ahead to mark my 41.5 all through. Then I went ahead now to connect all my curves together. And of course, I'm going ahead now to cut it out. And that's it, guys. So now, these other parts now where we'll be cutting out is what I will use to cut out for the other side. Remember, one is for the front and one is for the back. You can see the other cutout, I can still manage it and use it to cut out. So that's why I said you can cut, you can use 2.5 just to be on the safe side. Okay, yes. So now you can already see how this look. right? Yeah, and of course by the time you bring in the second layer and fit it in, you can already see how beautiful this is looking, right? Yeah, so the next thing of course you're going to do now is to go ahead and join it. Just make sure that the right side is facing each other. Start joining from the center point, from one center point to the other end, and of course the same thing. Then you can now hem the lowest part, but I would like to finish all the joining of the dress before hemming the lowest part. Okay, so at this point, after joining it, right, after joining it like so, then the next thing now is you can now bring in the top part, okay, the first layer, and now attach it. Okay, and this is where the actual work is. Okay, at this point you must have fixed your buttonholes and all that. Then you can now join it, and you can already see how this is looking. So you're just going to join one for the front and of course for the back. Then you go ahead and join the sides, and of course don't forget to attach your pockets. Okay, attach your pockets on the waistline, and that will be it, guys. That will be it, guys. Please, if you're confused, just go over it again. I'm sure you understand it. Okay, yes, guys, it's that simple. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. We've come to the end. I hope you find this helpful. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please help me share my videos. This is going a long way to help this channel. Please, I'll really appreciate it. And once again, compliments of the season to you all, guys. I wish you a happy new year, success, a beautiful year, beautiful 2024. We're definitely going to be alive all to celebrate it together. Thank you so much once again. Thank you a million. Thank you to you guys. You guys are amazing. See you on the next one. Bye.